Okay. Well, last time we talked about present perfect and simple past, and the difference between present perfect and past. So what is the difference between simple present and simple past and perfect? Remember?
الباست سيمبل إنه حدث انتهى. البريزنت بيرفكت إنه is still in the present.
يعني simple past إنه الأكشن happened in the past and ended in the past.
Yes.
بينما present perfect started in the past and
still
extending to present. Okay. شو the indicators that we use with what? With the present perfect. Time indicators.
already
Already.
since lately.
Lately, recently.
Yet.
So far. Already. Just. Okay. These time indicators are used to show a present perfect tense. Okay. Today we will be talking about indefinite and definite. Indefinite and indefinite. So, when we say, for example, when we talk about something in a span of time, مثلا, from the earliest memory to present, perfective has an indefiniteness, which makes it appropriate verbal expression for introducing a topic of discourse. Then, using perfective, يعني we have indefiniteness, يعني إنه the action took place in the past and is still what is still happening. Indefiniteness, يعني indefiniteness of time. Okay, indefiniteness of time. طبعا when we narrow down the topic طبعا تصير عندنا definiteness بالنسبة بكون definiteness marked by simple past. Okay, إذن definiteness means أو is associated with the past, and indefiniteness is associated with what? With what? With the present perfect. Look at the examples here. He says that he has seen a meteor at some time between earliest memory and the present. طبعا هنا indefinite time. Right. Number two, we compare this with the other example. He says that he saw the meteor last night that everyone is excited about. Two different ones. He says that he has seen a meteor at some time. شو التايم عندنا هون بكون؟ Indefinite. يعني no specific time. بينما نقول he says that he saw طبعا الاكشن مبين in the past. Finished in the past or ended in the past. إذن with the present perfect here نقول إذا نعتبره indefiniteness. Okay? Indefiniteness. إذن the present perfect is what? Indefiniteness. The past is so definite. يعني في عندنا indefinite and what? And definite. Even using the present perfect make the action indefinite, and using the past make it what? Definite. Also compare these two examples. Did you know that John has painted a portrait of Mary? And did you know that John painted this portrait of what? Of Mary. طبعا برضه نفس الشيء في عندنا هنا John has painted a portrait. one indefinite a portrait. لما نستخدم الباست نقول John is painted this portrait. صار this one. إذا شو صارت؟ definite. إذا we say a portrait is indefinite. or this portrait is what? Definite. إذا the present perfect is or indicates indefiniteness. والsimple past indicates definiteness. Okay. Any question about this? واضح بالنسبة للindefinite definite؟ نحكي هون عن الأكشن definite ولا indefinite؟ Yes. Now this is about this present perfect. خلينا نشوف ال past perfect. Past perfect. So what we said of the perfect applies to the past perfect. Let's see. Look here, we're on a past, in a present, or future. Okay. Look at the example. I say now, or now is what? Present. Now is the present. That when I met him, I just have to met past. إذا I قلنا say طبعا present لأنه فعل now. I say now. Present. That when I met in the past him, when I really went to the point in the past. John had lived in Paris for 3 years. إذا sentence here I say طبعا قلنا I say now لأنه now حتى لو we say when I met him طبعا bit in the past him طبعا هاي البوينت relevant the point in the past. John had lived نستخدم ال past perfect. Okay. So now بالنسبة لل past perfect which happens first له هل هو meeting him ولا John living in Paris for 3 years?
Living in Paris.
Living in Paris إيش؟ happens before meeting him.
Yes.
إذا الأكشن اللي happens نسميها طبعا past perfect. شو يعني past perfect؟ يعني past perfect past of the past يعني إيش؟ It happens before the past. إذا past perfect happens before the past. واضح؟ طيب. هنا في عنا بالexample simple past والpast perfect are interchangeable يعني they can be used instead of one another. Look at the example. I ate my lunch after my wife came home from her shopping or I ate my lunch after my wife had come. طيب شو هنا؟ فهنا في عنا ايش؟ came كpast. طبعا I ate من past I ate my lunch after my wife came from her shopping. فاحنا قلنا interchangeably are used here أو نستخدم had come. طيب شو الفرق difference in meaning between I ate my lunch after my wife came home أو I ate my lunch after my wife had come home. What's the difference?
إنه ممكن التايمينج إنه
I
ate my lunch after my wife came.
After my wife came home. شو بتعني هنا؟
came home إنه يعني مباشرة بعد ما إجت هو أكل صح؟
طيب لو قلنا I ate my lunch after my wife
had come يعني بعد فترة مثلا طويلة. إنه بعد فترة طويلة من لما إجت مرته.
طيب نسأل سؤال. What happens first? Eating the lunch or my wife coming. What happens there?
his wife arrival or his wife come.
إذا
إنه مرته رجعت على البيت.
إذا هنا my wife had come أجت إيش؟ happens before إيش؟ before eating. طبعا عندنا ate هنا عبارة عن past. إذا past perfect شو صارت؟ happens before إيش؟ before the past ولا لا؟ إذا هون اللي past perfect شو صار فيها؟ happened إيش؟ before the past. والpast happens إيش؟ after the past perfect. واضح؟ بينما هنا when we use past and past, I ate my lunch after my wife came. came طبعا هاي came past و ate past. Okay. هنا في عندنا two past here. ate and came. بينما هاد كم هنا when we use past perfect إنه معناته إنه my wife coming to home happens إيش before eating the lunch. Before eating the lunch. إذا نقدر نقول إنه past perfect happens before إيش؟ before the past. لذلك نسميه past of the past. Okay. Then we can use these اللي هم past perfect interchangeably. Okay. Now, there is no interchangeability when the past perfect is the past of the perfect. For example, John tells me that he hadn't seen Mary. إذا هنا في عندنا tells. John tells me that he hadn't seen Mary since Monday. Okay. John told me, she told me that he hadn't seen Mary since. John told me, it's incorrect. When we don't say John told me that he didn't. Okay. إذا we don't use here past here. When they are not used interchangeably. When the past is perfect is the past of the perfect. You know, told مع ايش؟ past مع past. You can't use this. But when we can use the present tense with past perfect hadn't. But we use past with what? With past perfect. But not past with past. Okay. All right. Any question about this? Any question? Okay. The past and the progressive. So the progressive is used to indicate a limited duration of an action. Limited duration of an action. For example, I was writing with a special pen for a period last night, but my hand grew tired. إذا شو في عندنا؟ I was writing with شو هستخدمه أنا؟ Past continuous was writing for a period last night, but my hand grew. شو هستخدمه أنا؟ grew. شو grew on past. Okay. إذا the progressive one was writing when used with the past شو بعني؟ هنا it what indicates or shows limited duration of time. يعني writing happens for ايش؟ in a limited duration of time بعدين صار عندنا ايش؟ my hand grew. طيب. إذا هنا بالنسبة للبروجريسيف عبارة عن convenient أو suitable device to what? to indicate a time span within which another event can be seen in taking place. إذا هنا يعني it's like while I was writing the distribution, my hand is grew tail. إذا هنا using the continuous here is a suitable device to indicate a time span within which another event له grew can be seen taking place. Okay. For example, say while I was writing, the phone rang. إذا هون في عندنا while I was كان في عندنا continuous process. كانت عندنا continuous here like this. شو صار عندنا؟ صار عندنا interruption هنا. Okay. Interruption the process by ايش؟ By using the verb past. Sorry. By using rang. إذا في عندنا هنا process كانت in progress اللي was writing هنا was writing صار interruption فيها ايش؟ using the verb past here. Okay. إذا while I was there was a kind of continuous action but another action is interrupted this continuous action اللي هو simple past rang. برضو the progressive here indicates incomplete action. For example, look at the example here. He read a book that evening. شو معناته يعني؟ إنه he finished the book. نقول he was reading a book that evening. شو معنى؟ إذا he did not finish it. إذا هون the progressive is used to indicate إيش؟ incompleteness of the verb. Incompleteness of the action. Okay. إذا الباس معناته completeness of the action بينما الباس continuous means إيش؟ incompleteness of the action. Look at the next example. The girl was drowning in the lake. هنا but someone dived and rescued her or saved her. The girl drowned in the lake. What's the difference between the girl was drowning in the lake and the girl drowned in the lake? What's the difference between them? What's the difference?
The first one means that the girl was saved. Someone saved
Was
her.
saved. يعني she was alive.
Yes.
Yes. Number
Yes,
two.
she's alive.
Yes.
She's dead.
Dead. Yes. يعني was drowning, but she was. Somebody else come and rescued her.
Rescued her,
لما
yes.
نقول the girl drowned يعني nobody
She
rescued
died.
her. إذا شو صارت؟ She died. بينما الأولى the girl was drowning. She was not dead. Why? Because somebody helped her. Then was drowning. يعني she did not complete the action of drowning. Why? Because somebody else rescued her. بينما الثاني الأكشن عندنا إيش؟ complete. معناته the girl drowned and she died. واضح؟ The difference between the past or the progressive وال past. إذا the progressive here indicate أو show إيش؟ incomplete action بينما ال past indicates what? Complete action. واضح؟ The habitual activity برضو may be expressed by the progressive بس it should be what? It is إنه الhabit is temporary. شو يعني temporary؟ يعني not for a long time. Look at the example. At that time, we were bathing every day. يعني every day. يعني لما نقول we were bathing هون habitual action every day. Habitual action. إذا استخدمنا اللي هون اللي progressive مع habitual action وين in the past. لو قلنا مثلا we were sometimes walking to the office. This is incorrect. ليش؟ لأنه sometimes is not habitual action. Okay. إذا the progressive can be used with إيش؟ With habitual activity زي هنا every day مثلا أو every month أو every year. ليش؟ لأنه بيكون temporarily الأكشن. بينما we don't use it with what? with words like sometimes أو often أو usually. Okay? ليش؟ لأنه الأكشن هنا is not habitual action. Okay? But general habits may be referred to. مثلا my brother was always losing his keys. عبارة عن general habit. Okay? General habit. هنا we can use it as progressive. So was always losing. وين الهابت هنا؟ بالalways. Okay? إذا always here عبارة عن إيش؟ habit. بس هاي عندنا general habit. إذا we can use a progressive with habitual activity وكمان with إيش؟ with general habits. Okay? لأن هون الأكشن إيش؟ is not complete. The action is not complete. Any question about past and progressive? Any question about past and past progressive? إذا الباست يعني completeness بنفس الوقت نقدر نعتبره definite. والباست perfect إيش؟ sorry البروجريسيف نقدر نعتبره ايش؟ incomplete action. So we can use progressive with habitual activity. Also we can use it with what? With general habit, as we have seen. Any question about this? Any question? Right. The perfect progressive. Limited duration أو نسميه incompleteness can be jointly expressed with perfect progressive. إذا limited duration أو incomplete completeness can be expressed using a perfect progressive. يعني perfect يعني هذا وهذا مع ايش؟ مع ing. هنا he has eaten my chocolate. What does this mean? إنه they are all gone. كل الشوكليتس ايش gone. When we say he was eating my chocolate, but يعني I stopped him from ايش؟ From eating. He has been eating my chocolate, but there are some left. Okay. إذا لاحظنا هنا has eaten هنا استخدمنا present perfect has eaten. Okay. تعني الأكشن is complete. Complete action here. The action is what? It's complete. Okay. إذا الأكشن not complete, they are gone يعني nothing is left. He was eating past continuous. حتى past continuous. Past continuous. What does this mean? إنه he was eating, but I stopped him. يعني he did not eat all of them. He has been eating my chocolates, but some left. يعني they are not all gone. Okay. إذا perfect progressive شو يعني هنا? Indicates what? And especially recent activity. The effects of which are obvious. إذا perfect progressive shows recent activity ايش the effects of which are obvious يعني effects of recent activity is what is obvious. طبعا الverb just can be used what in this case. For example, it has rained a great deal since you were here. Oh, look, it has just been raining. What is the difference between it has rained a great deal since you were here and it has just been raining? So الفرق بين present perfect وال perfect continuous in these two sentences.
The first one means it stopped raining.
It has
And
rained a great
the
deal
second one,
since you were here.
yeah, it has rained.
Is it still raining?
Yeah,
Yes. Number two, it has just been raining.
it's still raining.
لما نقول it has just been raining, is
Yes,
it
it
still
means
raining?
it's still raining.
No.
Yes.
طب إذا قلنا it's still raining معناته
No.
زي الجملة الأولى أو زي المثال. It has rained a great deal since you were here يعني it is still raining. Number one. Number two, it has just been raining. What does it mean? كيف
So
how
it
do you know that it has
stopped
just been
raining.
raining? ها؟
Has been because
بس
they used has
what
been.
does it mean? It has just been raining. الأولى عرفناها، الثانية طيب.
يعني كانت
just been raining.
لساتها بتشتي وبطلت.
كيف لساتها شو تبطل؟
يعني it's a recent activity but it stopped.
طب how do you know؟ لما تقول it
Because
has
it
just
has
been
just
raining.
been.
طبعا
Yes,
لما نقول it
من
has just
just.
been raining. Is it still raining؟ ها؟ زي first sentence؟
No, it's
No.
it stopped.
طيب نعرف إنه
No, it
stopped
stopped raining.
How do you know؟
من just.
من just. شو just يعني هون؟
يعني it stopped raining because it has just been raining.
افرض انت كنت داخل البيت وطلعتي ما كانش تشتي، كان في ايش؟ في الافكت اوف ذا رين. شو نوع الافكت يعني؟
الآثار.
آثار، شو الآثار يعني؟
يعني it stopped raining but we can still see the
يعني
effect.
الأرض مبلولة، مظبوط؟
Yes, exactly. Yes.
يعني تطلع برا مثلا كنتيش يعني ما شفتيش شو تشتي الدنيا وطلعتي برا شفتي فيها ايش؟ الأرض مبلولة، شو تقولي؟
It has just been raining.
شو اللي دلنا
Yes.
الافكت تبعها؟ شو الافكت؟ له ايش؟
الأرض مبلولة.
الويت جراوند. الويت جراوند.
Yes.
هاي عبارة عن افكت. إذا الافكت دلنا على انه في كان اكشن. الافكت انه يو هاف سين الويت جراوند معناته انه في كان اكشن بس الاكشن ايش ستوب. بس كيف عرفنا انه it was raining؟ لانه في عندنا افكت. شو الافكت؟ انه الجراوند از ايش؟
الأرض مبلولة.
اوكي؟
Yes.
هذا difference between present perfect والperfect continuous. اذا البريزنت بيرفكت معناته انه the action is still on. It has rained here a great deal since you are here. You are here. Okay. بينما هنا الإفكت it has just been raining يعني you didn't see the rain but يعني you didn't see while it was raining but when you see the effect here then you can say it has just been raining. Okay. إذا هنا what tells us about that the rain إنه له الإفكت. الإفكت the rain له قلنا عنها شوية الويت جراوند. واضح؟ طيب the next one.
Yes, thank you.
Verbal meaning and the progressive. نقدر نقول إنه the progressive occurs only with ايش؟ with dynamic verbs. with dynamic verbs. طبعا these verbs fall into 5 classes. the dynamic verbs. بينما static verbs طبعا شو قلنا على static do not allow progressive. Look at the dynamic verbs. What are the groups of dynamic verbs? في عندنا activity verbs زي ايش؟ abandon, ask, beg, call, drink, eat, help, learn, listen, look at, play, read, say, slice, throw, whisper. كلهم هذول ايش؟ عبارة عن dynamic verbs. They are related to ايش؟ نسميهم activity verbs. يعني ال process words of verbs زي ايش؟ change, deteriorate, grow, mature, slow down, widen. Even both activity or process verbs ايش؟ are frequently used in a progressive aspect. لإيش؟ مشان ايش؟ To indicate incomplete events in progress. To indicate ايش؟ Incomplete events. يعني ال verbs of body sensation زي ache, feel, hurt, itch. هنا بنقدر نستخدم both these bodily sensation كsimple أو present أو progressive aspect. طبعا في عندنا little difference in the meaning. إذا verbs of bodily sensation can be used with a present simple, with simple present or progressive aspect. في عندنا another group of verbs سموه transitional event verbs. They arrive, die, fall, land, leave, lose. وهذول occur in the progressive. بس يصير عندنا change of the meaning compared with the simple aspect. The progressive زي ما قلنا implies inception. Only the approach of the transition. The last group of dynamic verbs is called as momentary verbs. Momentary. They hit, jump, kick, knock, not tap. طبعا هذول في اللي هم ايش؟ little duration. So in this case, the progressive aspect is suggest repetition. Suggest repetition. لأن هاي عندنا dynamic verbs. في عندنا 5 group of words نعتبرهم dynamic. شو يعني dynamic؟ They can be used with the progressive. لهم what are they؟ قلنا the activity verbs and the process verbs and the verbs of body sensation and the transitional event verbs. في عندنا قلنا momentary verbs. كلهم عبارة عن ايش؟ dynamic verbs. Dynamic يعني we can use progressive verbs. The second type of verbs semi-stative. شو stative verbs؟ يسموهم inert perception and cognition. Inert perception and cognition. زي ايش؟ abhor, adore, astonish, believe, desire, detest, dislike, doubt, feel, forgive, guess, hate, hear, imagine, impress, intend, know, like, love, mean, mind, perceive, please, prefer, presuppose, realize, recall, recognize, regard, remember, satisfy, see, small, suppose, taste, think, understand, want, wish, etc. شو بنسميهم كلهم؟ inert perception. طبعا هو عبارة عن state of verbs بس they show ايش؟ inert perceptions and cognition. Some of these verbs may take ايش؟ other than recipient subject. الحالي بيكون ايش؟ they belong with A1 class. هنشوف. I think you are right. I think you are right. طبعا هون think عبارة عن ايش؟ عن inert perception. inert perception. بس شو استخدمنا قلنا هنا تحت؟ I am thinking of you. شو the difference between I think you are right and I am thinking of you all the time? طبعا بالأولى think عبارة عن state of verb. بالإكزامبل الثاني شو صار؟ dynamic verb. Do they have difference in meaning؟ إذا بالstative والdynamic. Is there a difference in meaning between I think, I am thinking? Is there a difference in meaning? ها؟ Is that difference in meaning? طبعا of course there is a difference. I think you are right. No, طبعا state of mind زي ما قلنا inert perception. بينما I am thinking هنا في عندنا process. اوكي نقدر نرجعها لل A1 version dynamic verbs. I am thinking of you all the time. إذا في عندي process of thinking. بينما هنا I think I believe. يعني it's something which is stated. يعني that doesn't change. إذا هون think عبارة عن inert perception. The second group of stative verbs سميهم relational verbs. They apply to, belong to, concern, consist of, contain, cost, depend on, desire, equal, fit, have, include, involve, lack, matter, need, owe, own, possess, remain, require, resemble, seem, sound, suffice. شو مسمين هذول كلهم؟ طبعا stative verbs في عندنا two groups. الجروب الأولى سميناهم verbs of inert perception or cognition. The second group اللي هو relational verbs. يعني they express what? Relations. Any question about dynamic and stative verbs? Any question?
No.
Even stative verbs شو يعني نقصد stative verbs؟ يعني they do not take the progressive aspect. They do not take the progressive aspect. فهنا two groups of what? Of stative. قلنا verbs of inert perception and verbs of relational. أو بنسميه relational verbs. Dynamic and 5 groups. قلنا activity verbs, process verbs, verbs of bodily sensation, transition event verbs, and momentary verbs. هذول بنسميهم ايش؟ dynamic يعني we can use progressive with them or we can change them into progressive. I've been for stative and dynamic verbs. Any question about this? Right. Now we'll move to the future tense. في عندنا future in English. Now corresponding to the time tense relation. Time tense relations. The present, the past. In a present future or in a past future. In a several possibilities for indicating future time. In a futurity, modality, and aspect. Are these طبعا express أو show future time. اللي هي futurity والmodality بالmodal auxiliaries والaspect. لو using a perfective aspect أو progressive aspect. طبعا هنا the future time طبعا we use modal auxiliaries to express what future time أو في عندنا semi auxiliaries أو simple present forms or progressive forms. إذن we can express future in different ways. أول شيء we can express them with modal auxiliaries أو semi auxiliaries or by simple present or progressive form. All of these can be used to express or to show future. Okay. خلينا نشوف الفيوتشريتي أو المودال auxiliaries. يعني will and shall. طبعا will في اختصار ال here هي infinitive. We use what with all persons. Shall plus infinitive. We use it only with the first person only. خاصة عادة بس تكون بالبريتش. هي British English. الفيوتشر هنا والمودلز functions can hardly be separated. Then shall, will are the closest approximation to colorless neutral future. إذن will و shall عبارة عن neutral. They are used what to indicate or show neutral future. طبعا will can be used in all persons. نقول I, he, she, you, we, they, it, it كله will. Okay. لكن shall هنا shall is used with what? With the first person. زي I shall, we shall. بينما will is used with all the pronouns. Okay. With all the persons. طبعا shall the usage of shall is restricted to ايش؟ To southern British English. Southern British English. And not to the all British English. Okay. إذا هنا في عندنا future أو modal auxiliaries and will and shall. طبعا will is more is broader than shall. Will is used with all the persons or the pronouns. بينما shall is used with what? With first person singular and plural. First person singular I. First person plural we. Okay. The auxiliary construction also use what? To refer to a statement seen in the past. From a point of orientation in the future. For example, they will have finished their book by next year. طبعا هنا will اللي هي كفيوتشر مع الهاف البيرفكت. يبقى نسميها الجملة هاي future perfect tense. إذا they will have finished this book by next year. طبعا هنا will have كauxiliaries. Okay. كفيوتشر orientation. نشوف انه في عندنا هنا الاكشن is in the past. Will have finished their book by next year. By next year. إذا في عندنا هنا future orientation اللي هو they will. طبعا هنا في عندنا what we call statements seen in the past اللي هي have finished their book by next year. إذا the process of finishing the book will take place in the future. وين احنا قلنا هنا؟ يعني by the next year، يعني before next year. إذا reading the book إيش؟ will be finished by يعني before next year. يعني ممكن at the end of this year but before next year. استخدمنا هنا the future. Okay. The statement in the past اللي هي have finished. إذا the future is used here orientation to indicate or refer to a statement seen in the past اللي هي يكون عنها ايش؟ have finished. يعني هون فارس عندنا past وعندنا future next year. And this means that they will finish reading the book by next year and before next year يعني at the end maybe of this year. Okay. إذا استخدمنا هون will ليش؟ للفيوتشر. الفيوتشر وستيتمنت عندنا يعني الشكل هنا في عندنا have finished يعني past. Okay. يعني this action will be finished by next year. Yeah, this is the first one, the first tool of future or device. Second, في عندنا be going to plus infinitive. We use be going to plus infinitive to indicate the future. And this modality indicates future. No future fulfillment of the present. I'm going to make a party next week. or I'm going to get married. معناته هنا I'm going to get married يعني you are arranging يعني everything is arranged in the future. إذا هنا when we say going to it has two meanings. One is the future يعني I'm making my marriage next مثلا ممكن next week, next month and so on. This is the future present intention. هون في عندك present intention ليش؟ using a future for present intention. يعني your intention is now but it shows future. استخدمها مع personal subject. When are you going to get married? When are you going to get married? وهنا في عندنا present intention now but the action will take place when in the future. Okay, then using going to here indicates what future. The other meaning is the future of present cause and used with both personal and non-personal subjects. مثلا she is going to have a baby, it's going to rain. How do you know that she is going to have a baby? هل في عندنا evidence هنا؟
Because she's pregnant.
نعرف ان نقول she is pregnant. Okay. She is pregnant. Then how do you know she is going to have a baby? Because she is pregnant, right? Then she is pregnant. No pregnant? What's pregnant?
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
It is going to rain. How do you know it's going to rain?
because there are clouds
There are
in the
clouds.
sky.
Cloud.
إذا في عندنا cause هنا لو نسميه future of present cause. إذا future present cause. إذا when we say she is going to have a baby في عندنا إيش؟ في عندنا evidence إنه she is pregnant. It's going to rain برضه في عندنا evidence إنه of the clouds. إذا we can use here personal pronoun لو she أو personal subject ونستخدم non-person مع it. Okay. إذا going to لها two meanings here, specific meanings. قلنا بالأول future of present intention نستخدمها مع personal subjects زي هنا you. Number two, future of present cause. Present cause يعني she is going to have a baby from the future, but how do you know she is pregnant?
Because she's pregnant.
It is going to rain in the future, but we're in a present cause. What present cause? We have seen rain. We have seen
The
clouds.
present cloud.
إذا نقدر نعمل guessing. It is going it's going to rain. إذا be going to here is used in the main clause of co-conditional sentence. مثلا, if you leave now, you will never get it. We can say, if you are going now, so if you leave now, هون نستخدمه مع main clause, you are not going to regret it. Okay? Then we use it with the main clause though, or something independent. Then if you leave now, you are not going, لأن فعل never هون, you are not going to regret it. You are not going to regret it. This is what we using going to with the main clause in the conditional sentence. Any question about this so far? Any question?
No.
Okay, that's enough for you. Now we can stop now. Okay. See you next time. Happy. Have a nice weekend.